All right, so get this. We are diving into the world of AI.
But, and this is a big but.
It's AI grading other AI.
Whoa.
Yeah, you heard that right.
It's like, remember those standardized tests we all took?
Oh, yeah, totally.
You'd get your score back, and it's like, okay, good at math, not so good at history.
Right.
And that was that. Like, end of story.
Exactly.
But did those numbers really tell the whole story?
That's such a good point. It's like those standardized tests, and even the benchmarks we use now for AI, they kind of miss the nuances.
Totally.
It's like if you're looking at a painting and just talking about, like, how much blue paint was used.
Instead of the actual art itself.
Exactly.
So, like, two AIs could ace a benchmark, right?
Right.
But one's like, amazing at writing code.
And the other one's out here composing symphonies.
Exactly. And I think that's where this research comes in. They're proposing report cards for AI.
AI report cards. Okay, now that's interesting.
Yeah, so using AI to generate, like, natural language summaries that try to capture the strengths and weaknesses of an AI. So instead of just a number, you get a detailed breakdown of what this AI is really good at.
Okay, but how do you even begin to grade AI? Like, what would be on an AI report card? What makes for a good one?
Yeah, so they focused on 3 key criteria: specificity, faithfulness, and interpretability.
All right, break those down for me. No jargon, please.
Okay. So specificity is all about how wide the report card can differentiate between AIs.
Huh?
Can it tell if one AI is like a B at translation and another one's more like an A? Then you've got faithfulness. That's about whether the report card actually reflects the AI's real abilities, not just like surface level stuff.
Right. Because, I mean, one AI might be able to, like, write you a sonnet that brings a tear to your eye.
Right.
But then you ask it to, like, I don't know, explain quantum physics, and it's total meltdown.
Precisely. A faithful report card would highlight that. And then finally, interpretability. A report card written in robot speak isn't very helpful to us humans, right?
Right. So no more ones and zeros.
Mm-hmm.
We need plain English. But how well do these report cards actually work in practice? Like, did the researchers just hand these report cards out and hope for the best? They didn't. They put them through the ringer. Right.
Yeah.
Like one of the tests they did, it was like this guess the AI game. They showed an AI like 2 different report cards and then a bunch of tasks that the AIs did.
Okay.
And they were like, okay, can you match the report card to the right AI just based on how they did on these tasks?
Interesting.
And so it's kind of like, if you're trying to match like a description to a house,
Yeah.
you use those details to figure out which house they're talking about.
Right.
And this is where it gets a little interesting. They thought that if they gave the AI a couple of examples beforehand, like, okay, here's a report card, here's how they did match them up, that it'd be a slam dunk after that.
Right. A little bit of training data.
Yeah, a little bit of training data, exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't that simple.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would have thought so too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it makes sense. It's AI. It's weird.
So what happened?
So it turned out that just having the report card itself, without any of those hints, was sometimes enough for the AI to make a really good guess.
Wow.
Which I thought was really interesting. It shows just how much information is actually packed into these things.
Yeah, that is interesting.
But I think the real test was, okay, how well do these report cards actually stack up against traditional ways that we've been evaluating and thinking about AI?
Right. How do you compare? Yeah. How do you measure them up against the old way?
Exactly.
So how do they do that?
Well, they use something called ELO ratings. Like in chess, how you have your rating, it goes up or down depending on if you win or lose.
Yeah.
They gave each AI an ELO rating
Yeah.
based on how well it actually did on the tasks.
Okay.
So that's like their real score, right?
Exactly. Like their real performance-based score.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
And then they calculated a completely separate ELO just based on what the report card said about that AI.
Oh, interesting.
So their thinking was, if the report cards are really accurate,
Yeah.
those 2 ELOs should be pretty close.
Right. They should converge.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what happened?
What happened? Don't leave me hanging.
I won't. The ELOs, based on the report cards, incredibly accurate.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, even more accurate, actually, than that few-shot method, where they give them a couple of examples.
Oh, wow. That's fascinating.
Which is really interesting. It kind of shows, like, it really is pulling out these deeper patterns.
Yeah.
So it's not just describing the AIs. It's almost like predicting how well it's going to do.
Yeah.
Which I thought was super interesting. But, so far we've only really heard from the robots, like how the AIs are grading other AIs.
Right.
What about feedback from actual humans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Did real people get to see these report cards?
They did.
Yeah.
And they gave the report cards a thumbs up.
They did. They really did. The AI report cards passed, I guess you could say, with flying colors.
Really, they did that well.
Yeah. They averaged above a 4 out of 5 on all of the criteria.
Wow, that's impressive.
Meaning humans found them to be specific, accurate, and easy to understand.
Yeah, okay.
So it wasn't just a fun experiment. This could actually change how we evaluate AI in the future.
Because it's like you wouldn't hire someone without looking at their resume first, right?
Right.
You want to know what they're good at.
Exactly.
And so, as AI just becomes a bigger and bigger part of our lives, we really need to be more selective.
Right.
We need to be picky.
Absolutely. And these report cards could be the key.
Yeah.
They can help us choose the right AI for the job.
Right. Like imagine if you needed to analyze a ton of data. You wouldn't want like the AI that's really good at writing poetry to do that for you.
Right.
You'd want the one that was like a master of statistics.
Exactly.
It's all about understanding both the strengths and the limitations of these AIs.
Right. You've got to know where they excel.
Right. So we're not like asking it to do something that it's not equipped for.
Exactly. Yeah. Play to their strengths.
This has been, I don't know about you, but I found this to be a really, really interesting conversation.
Oh, absolutely. This is fascinating stuff.
Who knew that we'd be talking about AI grading other AI? But it makes so much sense.
It does.
And it just makes you realize, like, man, things are moving so fast.
They really are.
We really got to keep up.
Yeah, and this is just the beginning, right? As AI evolves, the way that we evaluate it has to evolve too, right?
Totally.
And it raises these really fascinating questions, I think, about how we even measure intelligence, even in machines.
It's true. It's like opening up this whole new world.
Yeah.
Of both like amazing possibilities, but also, challenges.
Absolutely.
And so that actually leads perfectly into, I want to hear from you, our listeners. If you were designing an AI report card, what would be the most important skill or quality that you would want to see on there?
Yeah. What would you be looking for?
Let us know. Hit us up on social media, shoot us an email. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, keep asking those deep questions.